Hi everyone, welcome back. We just got back from Gridlife Laguna and Kels did a great job and she had some tough competition.
Yeah, we're used to always chasing after factory race cars, but this time they really upped the ante and we found out what basically the fastest factory race car you can buy can do at Laguna Seca.
And Kels was able to be right on its bumper, so we were really able to learn and see where it was faster than our car. And good news, it's in a straight line. Check it out.
If you want some really good YouTube entertainment
our new tires, destroyed with that ABS fault, but you can see it was a ton of fun. For me, it was just so cool to be right on the bumper of what is, like you said, basically the fastest race car, sports car body, production car body race car that you can buy. And I think Jesse was a bit nervous watching.
Yeah, so we had like carefully planned out the weekend. We're like, this is probably our fastest session. We're saving our stickers for it. We've got a whole run plan. And then basically like 10 seconds after he went out behind the Ford GT, the run plan went straight out the window, and then he just tried to pass the guy. and like from the pits, we were all watching and cheering, and it was really cool. It was kind of that like young Sasha, like pissed off teenager energy, which was fun. But the problem was that he basically drove in dirty air for all the good laps chasing the Ford, and the ABS also faulted out.
Yeah, that was weird. Like whenever I would go wide on that third last corner, I guess, over that curbing or something would trigger a fault, and then it would lock up. So I stopped going out there, and the fault stopped happening. But yeah, it was super fun to be chasing that car. The owner, Ben, is a super cool guy. Kudos to him for bringing such a vehicle to a Gridlife event. Engines are blowing up, people are going off, there's drift car rubber everywhere. It's quite the environment to bring that car into, so super cool. I was surprised when I saw it there, to be honest.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. It got like pulled into the garages just behind a pickup truck with a tow strap, and we're like, what's happening? Crazy. And they like roll out like 3 sets of new slicks, and we're like,
yeah, 2 tire racks.
No. Yeah, so during that session he got the flat spot. I don't even know how long that lockup was, but that was just instantly a brand new slick, like down to the cords.
Yep.
So that was pretty.
I mean, the tire stopped, so in the data you can see that the wheel speed was 0.
Yeah.
So it just flat spots to the cords right away when that happens.
So not ideal for what could have been our best session.
But yeah, now here is our best session. We did have a fuel pump issue. Mm-hmm. So this run, I mean, the Motec is just so great. You can see we have up on the screen the fuel trims, the air-fuel ratio, and the fuel pressure. And you can see even at 25 PSI, the Motec automatically compensates, and the car was able to do it. So our best lap of the weekend was done with just basically no fuel pressure, which is just a testament to the control system. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you always go out and you just go for it, because you don't know which session really will be your fastest time. Because I think that his driving improved throughout the weekend, but the track got slower and they just balance each other out.
Yeah,
so,
unfortunately.
Yeah, even this lap where you watch it, there's like a ton of sand on the track, and the fuel pressure is so low, and it still worked out to be the fastest lap.
Yeah, because this was a cool morning run. So maybe the track's a second faster or 7/10 faster just because it's 15, 16 degrees Celsius. But then you put some sand, you put old tires, and you just end up right where you started. So certainly the conditions were worse than last year, where I was just learning the car and the track into 22 quite easily. This year, everything had to really be quite good to do a 22. So anyways, check this lap out. And then we did have a chance to kind of improve at the end of the day in what's called the podium sprints. But Kels decided to go out with a bang, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, that was a pretty clean lap other than the sand, which was, it was only about 2/10 because that's a quite short straightaway. But yeah, the car is just so fun to drive. You can just see now lap after lap. It's really consistent. Car is super balanced. It doesn't really ever have understeer. It doesn't usually have much oversteer. We made big steps up in the traction control too. So I was able to just really be confident on throttle. Yeah, it was just so good to drive, honestly. It was super cool. Yeah.
It's hard to get him out of the car, to be honest. He's running like more laps than we planned for him to run. One session we almost ran out of fuel because we were like, we're running this many laps, we need like 14 liters of fuel, and then he just stays out.
Yeah, you don't want to come in. It's so fun.
Yeah.
But it did end. The car decided it had enough. So
yeah. That was yeah, what you'll see is a roller coaster of emotions for everyone. You can see this guy in the car just in total denial about what's happened. Us on the pit wall, we were like, yes, and then he comes out of the corner and it's like, blah, 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 and we're like, no!
It was the last corner onto the straightaway of the last lap, which was going to be the best lap. So yeah, pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I thought the engine had blown up because it was making these crazy misfiring sounds, which was the traction control.
Right.
And then he just coasts up the hill across the line and turns around. But yeah, I mean, that was an interesting podium sprint. Historically, it's been 2 laps. So basically, you go out for your start and you get 2 flyers.
Right.
And it's really like a pressure on situation. Like if we're talking about lap records at Gridlife, that can happen during any session. But when we're talking about like the actual trophy, it's about who went fastest in the podium sprint. So
and we want that trophy.
We want the trophy.
We want the plastic trophy.
Yeah, it's like, you know what, that's a really expensive trophy at this point. But anyway, it was a bit of a shock because you'll see in the video, Sasha pulls up and then the guy's like, it's 3 laps. And we're like, what? You know, so, you know, we had been watching the Ford all weekend, of course, to see if we ever stood a chance. And
yeah, that was a bit of a potential there because
yeah, we were like, we actually could win this. But the Ford, he kept getting faster every lap.
Right.
So when it was 3 laps instead of 2, that really kind of shifted it more towards him. And we're like, okay, it's way less likely that we can win, but it's still possible because he saw us pull out.
He would have
really
to make a
laps.
mistake.
Yeah.
He would have to make a mistake.
Yeah,
at that
it's
point.
like, okay, it's still possible. It's unlikely, but maybe we can do it. So we were all really excited.
In the end, our best lap didn't even happen.
Yeah, it didn't even happen. But you know what? I've never been so pumped to lose, to be honest.
Sure. It's a great car to lose to.
Yeah, like we lost to that incredible car.
To be that close to it, frankly, was super encouraging. Just to give you some perspective, this car is about 4 seconds, 3 to 4 seconds faster than a GTD car. And the GTD cars at Laguna last year with the repaved track, the fastest car, a Corvette, did a 119 something. So we came to this event thinking, oh geez, this Ford GT could do like a 117. And we're doing 122s. Like, that's a really big gap. So to see that actually a lot of it was just track condition and being on a track that isn't fully rubbered in, and that makes a difference. You know, if you watch F1, you'll see the track improve by seconds from the start.
One session.
Yeah. So to be behind that Ford GT and see that, oh, you know what, the low speed cornering is pretty similar. The high speed cornering is pretty similar. You know, maybe there's a little bit in driving and of course the straight line speed, but it was just so like a relief to know there's not some fundamental problem with our Z compared to these GTD cars, which are doing 119s with less power. So anyway, enjoy this lap of the the highs and the lows.
Yep. Kels decided that she's retiring for the season.
Yep.
All on her own.
She's had enough.
Out lap, 3 hot laps. Yes.
something's really broken back there. So that was the rear diff stub shaft, basically twisting totally apart and breaking and destroying the bearing, and the axle's flying around back there. So yeah, it's just when you can see the start finish line, you're just like, no, it's not happening. Yeah, maybe they'll reconnect, maybe they'll reconnect.
No, let's just spin all that broken stuff more.
Yeah, in hindsight, that was bad. I should have just not done that.
As far as carnage goes, it actually wasn't that bad once we got in there and took the axle out and everything. Most of the damage.
Well, we were hoping it was just an axle, which would have been like $160 rock auto axle.
Yeah,
which is what Kels uses.
Mm-hmm.
There it is, Jess. The stub shaft.
That's some crazy shit right there.
It's so twisted.
The rest of it's still splined in the diff, so maybe the diff's okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do some cleanup in there.
But genuine advantage, Nissan axles.
Nissan genuine advantage coming through, outlasting this crazy part we had.
No, that was fine.
Nissan, no, it was actually a Nissan genuine advantage axle.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well,
we didn't need that genuine advantage because it just took out an extract diff.
Yeah. Not great.
Yeah, but that wasn't the only car we were running this weekend. Our friend Alex from Spage, who he made all the carbon on the Z, we made a deal with him. If he drove my trailer down and the Model 3, he could run the Model 3 in track battle. And that Model 3 drove from Toronto all the way to Laguna Seca, went up Pikes Peak as well on the way, never missed a beat, ran the whole weekend, never missed a beat, and drove all the way back. Never missed a beat. So that car is just like the ultimate dual-purpose vehicle. It's a 2018. It's an old car at this point, and it just doesn't care. It just keeps going. I think we have like almost 3 megawatt hours of electricity that went into that car over this like 2 weeks.
Oh god, the supercharging.
Yeah. No, it's just amazing. So Alex had a ton of fun. Here's a really good lap from him. We could have won instead of street. Alex could have won instead of street record with this car, but we had run 275s, which is the size we always use. So that's just 2 centimeters too wide for that class.
We should have put 255s on it.
Yeah, it's just money, right?
Yeah.
How many sets of tires we have to buy?
Yeah, it starts getting a little eye-watering towards the end of the season. So
it's just so many tires.
We're like, we really need a tire sponsor.
Yeah, really. So anyway, this is a great lap from Alex, and enjoy it. It's really good driving from him.
Yeah, he's a great driver.
And we'll wrap it up. nice driving, Alex. And that's it. Until next year, guys, we will make some improvements to Kels. Find another couple seconds, hopefully, somehow. Even though we only went 1/10 faster this year at Laguna after all that work.
Just find a few seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
But thank you to Gridlife. You guys are awesome.
Yep.
I think these events are the most enjoyable motorsport events that I've done in my career.
It's so much fun. These guys work so hard to put this on. It's often thankless for them. These dudes
people are just complaining.
Like, people are just complaining to them. Everyone needs something. These guys are like all sunburnt and like sleep deprived, and they still have a big smile on their face. Like,
yeah, it's inspirational because I can't do that.
No, I'm like, I'm not a good enough person to be running Gridlife.
Right. Yeah, and thanks to our sponsors, obviously Jim Wolf did an incredible job with his engine. Yeah. It's on its third, I think, season now. This was an experimental engine that was not even supposed to... We didn't even know if it would work. And I just keep doing laps with it, no fuel pressure. What are the other issues we've had with that engine? We had air in the coolant, so the coolant temperatures were moving around. It's just been really great. While we've been paying too much attention to the hybrid system and all these other developments on the car, the engine has just run and run. And this is a 15-to-1 two-ring engine. It's got all kinds of experimental stuff in it. In any other car, you would be just spending all of your time worrying about and working on the engine. So because Jim Wolf did such a great job with that engine, we were able to develop all these other parts of the car. And then, of course, the Motec, the electronics are just what allow us to make these functions and these systems and these cool things like the hybrid and the rear steering work and be easy to implement and to do development on and to run the car at a high level that without that development environment would, I think, be impossible. So, yeah, and everyone else that supported Kels along the way, all the guys, Jess, thank you. And we'll slave away again some more.
We're going to start earlier this winter, it's not such a cram. So yeah, hopefully we can have some cool updates for you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Oh! What? Oh my god, look at him!